Hi everyone, it's Katie Crysdale here from Lakeview Aquatic Consultants. Welcome back to your weekly aquatic industry insider. So I'm finally back in Alberta. It's been a busy 6 or 7 weeks. I've been on the road quite a bit. I was in Bern, Switzerland. I talked about that in one of my other videos. I was in Jasper for certified pool operator training. I was in Denver visiting some in-laws. And then I was also in Fredericton, New Brunswick for a conference, the Atlantic Recreation Facilities Conference. I presented a session that I am so proud of. It's about lifeguard fatalities in North American workplaces. And I'm really excited to share that video will be live on our YouTube channel here in the next few weeks. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do make sure to subscribe and follow so that you can get an update as soon as that recording is released. I'm so proud of the work I did on that session, and I can't wait to share it with you. So if you've been here for a while, you know I often fall behind on editing these videos. So that is where we're at mid-June. I am catching up on what I easily have 12, 13 recordings in the can that need to be edited and sourced, because a lot of the time I talk about different news articles or videos, and I want to make sure that those are linked in the description box for anything that I post on YouTube. So I appreciate your patience. I like to post these videos in chronological or sequential order because they're often interlinked. That may mean, as I did this week, that you're seeing a video from early April in the middle of June, but that's just how we roll over here. It's about quality. It's not always about quantity, although I know it might appear confusing because I'm dumping 10 or 15 videos on the YouTube channel in the span of a couple weeks. And then if I get busy again, I don't record or post anything for a while. In any case, you are not here to hear about everything that has been going on. The title of this video is very much going to grab your attention because I wanted to talk briefly about Paris Hilton and this TikTok that went semi-viral last week that's been really bothering me, because I think it's a missed opportunity for us to be talking about water safety and drowning prevention, and maybe not in the way that you're thinking. So I'm a millennial. I grew up in, the 90s, early 2000s. I remember these people were household names, whether we're talking about Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, Lindsay Lohan. Um, I think we can reflect now in 2024 that as a culture, media in particular, the paparazzi culture, the early days of blogs, they were not necessarily very kind to these women. And I think we can recognize that now in a way in 2024 that we didn't see in 2002. That's not to say that celebrities or anybody who's famous is a perfect person, and a lot of their failures or faults were documented for all of us to see. But I think it's been interesting what little I have followed Paris Hilton over the last couple of years, which is not that much, other than her involvement in regulating um, boarding houses or residential schools where children with problem behaviors are sent by their parents, which was her own experience as a quote, problematic youth. Paris Hilton is just living her life, doing her own thing. I don't think she's hurting anyone. She's doing her. And she's had a couple of kids the last few years, and her son in particular has really been the source of a lot of pain for her, based on the cruel comments on social media because of the appearance of his head and his face. And I'm not even going to get into that here. What I wanted to talk about was this wonderful TikTok that Paris Hilton had posted last week. And unfortunately, the media just glommed onto her further in a way that I think is completely unnecessary and completely misses the wider point of what we want to be talking about with water safety and drowning prevention. So let me go ahead and show you that TikTok video in case you haven't seen it. And then we're going to talk about why I think this is an important discussion for us to really understand the undercurrents and themes of what people are talking about when we talk about water safety and drowning prevention. Go! The reason I bring up this TikTok is because the internet was having a field day. In my daily Google News alerts, which I've mentioned several times here on this channel, I receive Google News alerts regarding the terminology drowning and swimming pool, and that collects or aggregates all different types of news articles. And so there was one day last week, I'll put a screenshot up, where Paris Hilton was just being, kicked and punched through the media. And all of the titles, all of the headings were very clickbaity regarding the way that Paris Hilton endangered her child. Yes, in this TikTok, Paris Hilton does have the puddle jumper on her child backwards, but I really want to stress that I think we're missing the forest for the trees, first of all. It is remarkable to see any celebrity, any famous person engaged in the water with their child, holding them, playing with them, getting their hair wet. I mean, if you've been a swim instructor or you've assisted with any sort of aquatic activities, you know a lot of parents, both men and women, will really resist getting their shoulders, their head, their hair wet. So I'm not saying she's mother of the year, but I really appreciated the genuineness of this TikTok video where she is clearly thrilled to be with her son. Her son is kicking and splashing at the end of that TikTok like only a child who genuinely loves the water would do, who genuinely feels safe. She's actively supervising and holding her child. It is quite deep. He is in a puddle jumper that's backwards. It's not perfect. No parent is perfect, right? So kudos to her for actually showcasing this. And I would further add, weeks later, leaving that TikTok up despite the thrashing she had in media regarding her child's quote safety. The comments on the TikTok are mixed. Some people are very politely, friendly, kindly saying, turning the puddle jumper around. It is very counterintuitive. I will say that about puddle jumpers. The fact that it straps or that it clips in the back is counterintuitive when you think about the fact that most vestments that children wear, like coats or backpacks, are typically around the back. So, full credit to her. It is a confusing piece of equipment. And yes, the people who are saying could be in a US Coast Guard approved life jacket, absolutely. But he's not in water wings, he's in a puddle jumper. She is directly with her child and he's loving it. And I really think we need to focus on what is good about this video. I'm not saying that because of the way Paris Hilton was treated or acted in the early 2000s means that she is immune from any modern criticism, but I really just think this is such a great, exciting TikTok to share. It's summer, they're in Hawaii, they're in a pool, they're having a good time. It really is intended to show the child, the mother, what they're doing together. And so, without belaboring the point, I thought this was a really great opportunity to really go back to basics and say, look, we're all trying to do our best with water safety and drowning prevention. Progress is so much more important than perfection. We do need role models. Celebrities are not inherently role models, but modeling behavior like this and then receiving feedback that the puddle jumper is backwards, not being defensive, not blocking people on social media, not taking the video down. I think kudos to her. And I mean, I don't want to say in defense of Paris Hilton, but it does feel like we're missing the boat. How many other celebrities can you name who are actively involved with their kids in the water and showing it on social media? I mean, I read the news every day in our industry. I'm active in social media. And literally, the last person who comes to mind, and this was probably during the winter in Canada when it was summer in Australia, is Rebel Wilson, who was in the pool with her child. And that was memorable, especially because they were both wearing proper sun protection. Australia is known for rampant cases of skin cancer, its proximity to the equator, the strength of the sun, the swimming and outdoor culture. It has one of the highest rates of skin cancer around the world. So that is literally the last time I can think of any celebrity, whether we're talking influencer, whether we're talking about Hollywood celebrity, politician, or anyone like that who was actively in the water. Let me know in the comments below if you think this TikTok is appropriate for Paris Hilton to keep posted, or if you think that it is not conveying the right message that we want to see in water safety and drowning prevention. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you in the next video.